Good morning. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to the channel. How we doing? How you doing? All right. What's going on, everyone? Nvidia beast, yes sir. Yes sir. Yeah, I wasn't aware that SMCI was reporting yesterday, Chef. I really was not. But yeah, big upside on it. Big upside on it. Hmm. How's everyone doing? Happy Friday, man. Happy Friday. We made it. We made it. Made it to Friday. They gave an estimate of earnings. Got it. Got it. Yeah, I wasn't aware. I saw Nvidia moving after. I was like, what's going on? Why is Nvidia moving? And then we were talking and yeah. SMCI. All right. Let me take a look at take a quick gander. See if I can see what I'm up right now on. I have a few swing trades this morning. Some next week contracts on Nvidia and on Boeing. And I actually like what I'm seeing because Boeing this morning looks to be rejecting that 200 and 100 SMA. So I'm sort of liking that. I got a Boeing downside trade, and then I got an Nvidia upside. So it looks good right now. So far. You also got, which is funny, you're getting like any type of plane news that like any type of negative plane news from this point forward is just going to really affect Boeing. So there was a video last night that's sort of spiraling on the internet. I don't know if it's really going to affect Boeing, but it sort of is. It looks like right now of a plane making an emergency landing. So there was an emergency landing in Miami Airport. I think it was a Boeing cargo plane. So it looks like it's potentially affecting the Boeing right now. So right now, this morning, I'm up $847. So yeah, I have this Nvidia January 26th 580 call, which is now in the money, which is great. And then I got some Boeing January 26th 210 puts, which look to be up decent this morning. So we'll see. Right now, up 823 to start the morning. Yeah. So let's see how that goes. I'll break down, everything as to why. So let's get started. Welcome back, guys. Happy Friday. Thanks again for being here. September, thank you for the $5 donation. Appreciate that. Thank you for supporting the stream. Thank you for the heart. Love you too. 6 inches of snow in New Jersey. You're not missing anything. I'll be there soon, Chef. But yeah, once that snow goes away, you let me know, man. I'm thinking about coming for sometime in March. So we'll see. But I am going to New York next weekend, actually, for a Rangers game. Let's go Rangers. So next weekend. All right. Let's do it. Press that like button if you guys could, if you're here early. If you could, make sure to press that like button. Hopefully we don't have any stream delays today. It looks good on my end. I don't see any problems here, but we shall see. We shall see. If it is, it's just a short-term little delay, and then we're all good to go. All right. we start with the economic calendar. We start with the economic calendar. Today is Friday, and really the only thing to be watching today is 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock today, preliminary consumer sentiment. So a little bit of consumer sentiment today, existing home sales, inflation expectations. That's all at 10 o'clock. So just keep an eye at that 10 o'clock time, right? 30 minutes into open, just be aware of it. And that's pretty much it, right? That's pretty much it for the economic side this week. Let's go to next week real quick and just take a quick look. Next week, manufacturing PMI, services PMI on Wednesday. Thursday, GDP, unemployment. And then, PCE on Friday. So not bad there on next week either. Not too heavy. Do you have an overview of the computer system? Which one? The one in the back is 4070 Ti, 14900K, and 64 gigs of DDR5. But I don't trade on that. That's for gaming. That's gaming. All right, that's that. Let's go to the earnings calendar. Let's go to the earnings calendar for Let's just go to the earnings calendar for next week because it's pretty much over for this week. Let's go to next week's earnings calendar just to make sure you guys are aware. If you do swing trade anything over the weekend, make sure you are aware of some of these earnings next week. Okay, so just be if you're going to swing trade anything over the weekend, make sure you know whether that stock has earnings or not. So next week to start the week, United after hours, right here. United after hours. Before open on Tuesday, Verizon, 3M, GE, Johnson & Johnson, Lockheed Martin, Procter & Gamble, D.R. Horton. So some right there. Netflix is a big one there. Tuesday after close. Wednesday, AT&T. Tesla, that's a big one. And Tesla, man. Tesla. My trading, it's just a Mac Mini, man. That's all. I just trade on. Whoops. I just set that as my background. No way. Oh, my God. Look at this. Look at this. I just sent the economic calendar as my background. This is now my background on my computer. How did I do that? Holy shit. Well, yeah. I don't want that there. But, okay. I'm going to have to change that. Tesla, crazy weakness. We'll watch it again today. Next week, we got Thursday, American Airlines, Alaska, Southwest, some airlines there, Intel, Visa, American Express here on Friday. So that's earnings. That's that. Let's continue. Man, I cannot believe I just made that my background. All right. Yeah, it's a good way not to forget. If you guys ever want to know what your economic calendar is, your earnings calendar, just put it as your background on your computer. All right, here we go. NASDAQ. So, just absolutely monstrous. V-shaped recovery yesterday off of this 16,960 level. A perfect demand hold. Really, the demand hold that was just insane yesterday, more than anything else, was the S&P 500 4770. What a perfect hold that was. Intraday yesterday. We got a pullback to our exact 4770 level that we were watching on the ES, right? 4770. We were talking about this level in the live stream, and you had probably one of the cleanest, right, and most aggressive demand bounces of the week right there. Look at that. So that was sick, right? That was a sick late day trade. If any of you guys caught this one and longed it off this 4770, what a perfect entry that was. So beautiful there, right? And that really is, I think, what set up this, this whole rally is this 4770 hold was pretty monstrous on the S&P 500 futures. You pop back up, you get through the 20, you get above 4,800, right? You hold above it, and you continue. That was a monstrous hold yesterday at 4770. So that's big, right? And so today, we'll jump back into the NASDAQ, but that really was the most important hold in my eyes yesterday on the S&P. On the NASDAQ, you can see it was that 16,960 level. We had a general area there. It wasn't as clean. The ES was the clean one, but that 16,960 was pretty clean there yesterday. You got above these highs, right? Above these highs, above this 17,060, 17,050, held above it, and you're sort of just rallying here, right? You're just sort of grinding higher. This level right here is important, this 17,150. Let me explain to you why. Let me get a little bit more time here. 17,150 is the previous pivot high, right here. The previous high right here before we had that downside was 17,150 right there. So you can see this morning at 17,150, you can see the hold that is coming in right now at 17,150, right? That came in here in the pre-market. So that's going to be our first downside demand to sort of pay attention to. If we get a rejection today, we're going to be watching to see if we can bounce off 17,150. That's level one, right? Level one for me is 17,150. The next level that I'm going to be watching, and really the level I'd like to see us pull back to for like very confident longs, is most likely back to this general area here, right? If we can retest these previous highs, that could be a really nice long entry. Now, do we get this pullback today? I don't know, right? It's a decent pullback, right? That's a 1.5%, 1.2% pullback. Do we get that today? I'm not sure, right? I'm not sure. But that pullback at some point in the future would be a really interesting long entry, right? Right here on a little pullback to that previous high, pull back to this area, and then look to see if demand does step up. Under that, of course, you have the yesterday hold around that 16,960. So those are my three levels. You could put a little bit of something at this previous high from yesterday, right? I was sort of looking at that here. You could have a little level here around that 17,100. You can see right in this general area, you had a little bit of a hold yesterday. So I think that could be a valid little spot to be eyeing today to see if the NASDAQ, if it does move lower, does it hold that previous high from intraday yesterday? Does it hold this little area from yesterday as well, around that 17.1, right? So could this be a move lower into 17.1, and then could you get that little upside move there, right? That could be something to watch. So there's a few downside levels that we just have to sort of monitor intraday, right? 17,150, that's definitely one of them. That's a big one. So that's like the major number one is 17,150, right? Number two is probably the previous day high before the end of day rally. This high right here, that intraday high around that 17.1, right? That's number two. And then it's that previous supply area, that previous high right here, 17,060, 17,050. That's going to be the major one that I'm going to watch there as well. So sort of three downside levels that I'll be watching for potential demand. Number one is 17,150. Number two is that 17,100. And number three is that 17,050. It's really every 50 points lower that you had some type of a reaction there on the NASDAQ futures. So 1750, 17.1, 17,150. I'm going to be looking for those levels as pullback opportunities. Similar to what we saw yesterday, right? Pullback and an opportunity. Same exact thing back to that 16,960. Okay? To the upside, right? To the upside. 17,300, right? What is that level? Let's go to the daily chart and let's go back. All right, let's go to the daily chart and let's go back. 17,300, if we zoom in to the previous highs here, right? On the daily chart, on the NASDAQ, what is 17,300? 17,300 is there, right? I actually trying to think back to this time, back in 2021. I mean, wow. I mean, that's a lot of daily chart rejections. That's a lot of days that we rejected the exact same level. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. almost 15 times, 15 days, we saw 17,300 just be a brick wall. Trying to remember this. I'm just trying to like think back to me trading that time. I can't really remember it too well. But yeah, that's a lot, right? There's a lot of action there. So just be aware of that, right? 17.3 above. That's very clear that's the level on the NASDAQ futures. Above 17.3 though, right? I think it's going, right? Above 17,300. I don't think, this or this is really going to slow down this move. So I would say today, right? If you get over 17.3 with some kind of strength, if you start seeing this thing sort of, rally over 17.3 today and you start holding above, I'm going to assume that it's going to continue, right? It's going to continue. So 17.3, right? That's the level for me, guys. If you're trading, you have to make sure you're on the same futures contract as me, okay? This is the March 2024 contract, okay? That's the contract that you're currently looking at. If you're using the continuous NQ, then it's going to be different. If you're using a different NQ contract, it's going to be different. This is the March 2024 NQ contract, okay? 17.3. So that's the level, right? That's the level right there. That's a big one. I would like to see that hold above for more continuation, but what would I like to see before that? Pullbacks, right? What has happened every single day on the upside, right? Pullback longs. It continues to happen. So let's look for the pullback longs, right? Let's look for those pullbacks as opportunities to take longs for new highs, right? So 17,150, 17,1, 17,050, and then that 17.3 big supply above. QQQ, the best long entry for me today, the absolute cleanest long entry that I could even imagine here would be 413, right? 413 right here, previous highs. If we can see this, man, that would be just something special. That would be a very clean break and hold above, right? If we can get back to that little pivot high and hold right there at 413, man, that could be very nice, right? So previous 413 highs, if we could come back to that level today, if we could see us hold that 413 area, right, on a little bit of a hold there, that could be a very, very nice long entry today. Would love to see it. Would love to see it. That would really give me some confidence to take something long today if I can get that 413 level. So we'll see if we get it. If not, then I'll go to the upside levels in a second. But if we get under 413 today, right, let's say we pull back to 413 and we do fall below it, your next level is obviously those triple top highs at 411. Right here, right? 411, 411, 411. If you do pull back under 413, you're watching 411, okay? So 413, right? 411, those are my two pullback levels. And then yesterday, we had that 407 level, right? We were talking about 407. We were talking about that 20 SMA. And that was a very strong move off of it in the pre-market. And you pretty much held it all day, right? You never even sort of got back to it. You just sort of maintained. But you can see sort of intraday, there was a reaction at this 411 level, right? You see this 411 here on the NQ or on the QQQ. If we zoom in, right, look at this little 411 drop. But this thing just, it did not give up, right? Little V-shaped recovery intraday. And again, this V-shaped recovery for me is because of the ES. And I'll once again show you why I think that's the case. But if we go over to 413 again, you can see 413. You got above it right here and continued. So for me today, guys, I want this and I want this, right? I want the longs here. That would be my best long entry of the day right there at 413. So we'll see if we get that. To the upside, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you're at all-time highs. So, yeah, I mean, there is no levels above. There's nothing above, right? So it's price discovery mode. Right? It's price discovery mode. You look for pullbacks and longs. When you're at all-time highs, what do you look for? Pullbacks and longs, right? You look for pullbacks and you look to long it back into new highs. So that's what I'm looking for today. 413, 411, those are my levels. Let's continue. ES. So this ES hold is why I believe the market ripped late day, right? I think this ES hold was probably as clean as it's ever going to get. This is 47.70. We talked about this in the beginning of the stream, but for some of you guys that are just stepping in, this 4770 level that held yesterday, right, was perfection. So we had that 4770. If we go to the 5-minute chart from ES yesterday, look at this. So I think this right here is what fueled your end of day sort of rip right off that demand level. Perfection 4770. All right? Big time. So if we go to the 30-minute, actually, you know what? Let's go hourly. You can see the level that we're at right now, and that is the 4840. 4840, and we're right there today. So today, what do you look for? You look for either that hold over 4840, right? That's number one. That could be a very strong long entry over the 4840 level. If you start to turn these highs into support, that's for more upside, right? Absolutely. I think the next level you're paying attention to here is this 4820, right? Right here. These previous highs right here. If you pull back, right into this area, watch 4820, okay? Very nice there. If you break under 4820, you're coming back to that 4800, right? You can see right here, 4800, 4800, all these 4800s, 4800, and then you have this 20 SMA. So I'd say you can pull back anywhere between that 20 SMA and that 4800 area, all right in here. Could be another pullback level to watch, okay? So I would say number one pullback level, 4820. Number two pullback level, this 4800 and 20 SMA. Those would be the two downside levels I'd watch. Of course, you know, that 4770 yesterday was a thing of beauty. If you just get right over 4840 today, you're looking for that hold above, okay? On the upside, above 4840, what are we watching? In my opinion, if we zoom in here on the daily chart, if you get over 4840 today, there is not much until this little high right here, right? If you go back to the daily chart, there's not much until this high right here at 4890, right? So I would say if the S&P 500, let's put this here too, just for later, 4965. I would say, right, if the S&P 500 can hold over 4840 and it actually has some juice today, right, then I would look for that move towards 4890. That would be about a 1% move, right? Can the S&P move 1% today? I don't know. But I would say if the ES can really maintain over 4840, that is really your only next level right there at 4890. There's really not much until that level. So 4840, 4890, 4820, 4800. SPY, all-time highs at 480, right? That's all-time highs. So if we go back to the daily chart, we can see right here, the previous all-time highs on the SPY is 479.98. Let's just call it 480. How about that? So 480 is the previous all-time highs on the SPY. And you can see this morning, we're just about there, right? We are just about there. So that's going to be the big watch today. Do we get above it? Do we see a rejection of it, right? That's everything today. Does the SPY make new all-time highs? We shall see. Today might be the day, right? So 480, big level there. Let's keep an eye on it, right? Let's see if that is a break and hold above, because if it is, right, if the SPY gets a solid hold above 48 or 480 today, that's probably going to give us a little spark, right? If we see a nice hold over 480, that's probably going to give us a little spark. So watch that 480, big watch there. That's all-time highs. Be aware of it, okay? That's going to be something you have to monitor intraday if you are trading. Now, on pullbacks, right, because I obviously would rather see a pullback to long before I just take a long into this all-time high, right? I would rather see a pullback. Where do I want to see a pullback? For me, it's like this 477.50. It's right here. It's right in this 477.50 area. That's where I would like to see a little pullback to. That is the previous highs here, right? 477.50. That is the previous highs right there, 477.50. And if we get that pullback to 477.50, right, that would sort of be the area that I would look for the demand to step up. So that's my first watch, 477.50. Under that, you have this high from Monday of last week. Sorry, Tuesday of this week. All right, you can see right here, 476.50. All right, and so those are my two levels, 477.50, 476.50. Here. All right, and then finally, of course, it's this 475 that held yesterday, late day. All right, look at this. This was a late day retest that we were sort of talking about in the group. So you can see right here, this little 475. Look at that little break and hold above. Look at that 5-minute wick right at the previous high a day. So you can see this was your previous high day on SPY yesterday from around 11:30. Late day, you got to push, you got to pull back, and look at that wick right there, right off that 475. So very clean there. So those are the three levels I'm watching. All right, number one, 477.50, 476.50. The juicy one is that 475. And then, of course, all-time highs at 480. All right, IWM. So IWM, not as strong as the rest, right? Definitely a sort of slow one. But I still believe that the short side entries are a little bit gone, right, on IWM. I don't think you really want to be short IWM into that 50 SMA, that 188 demand that we've talked about. Be a little bit cautious there. The only rejection that I could see coming in here today is potentially this 192 level, right? 192, 192, 192. Maybe, right, you get that kind of rejection at 192, but if the market's ripping, if SPY's at all-time highs, etc., right, if everything's sort of strong, I don't really expect the IWM to reject 192 here. So I'd be careful with that thought process, especially with the strength on the market, but you could watch it, right, if this is a retest rejection at IWM. But if you get above it, right, if you start to retest and hold above 192, I would assume the IWM tries to reclaim some of this downside back towards that 20 SMA. Okay, so just understand that. All right, we got 1,800 people. We have 600 likes. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. You know what that means. We just can't hey, I do it every day, right? We just can't get it. We can't get it going. We can't just press the like button. I don't know. Maybe one day. The add button. All right. See you, Dino. See you. All right. So Tesla, let's get into some stocks. Let's get into some stocks today. So man. Tesla is just a weak name, man. It's rough. It's rough. So you can see right here, previous lows, 212.50. Look at how it's stuck under that level, right? Look at how it's stuck under that level. 212.50, 212.50, 212.50, right? And so if Tesla's under 212.50, man, it's definitely not it's not going to be strong, right? If it's under that previous low, there's more reason to see downside. So I would keep an eye on that 212.50 today. If that level rejects again, right, that could be another short entry. It was a short entry yesterday, and it could be a short entry again today, right, if you see a rejection at that 212.50. So definitely watch that, right? Definitely watch that at that 212.50. If Tesla does reclaim that area, then it's probably going to try to push back to that 217, right? So pretty easy to read, right? Pretty easy to read here on Tesla. It's pretty much just 212.50 or nothing on the short side in my eyes, right? You really need to see a rejection at that 212.50 if you want any further downside here on Tesla. That cannot break back above, right? If you break back above that, it's going to try to reclaim these lows, try to hold, and then maybe get back towards that 217 area. So for me, I would say it's all about that 212.50 today on Tesla. Keep an eye on that level. All right, Nvidia. So something I want to point out here, guys, and maybe just a little bit of something to watch on this market as you push to the upside, okay? It's a very, very textbook sort of setup that is happening on Nvidia. It happened on Microsoft yesterday. You may or may not have seen my tweet this morning. The gap fill, right, and then the long entry. And that is literally exactly what Nvidia did yesterday. So you had a gap up yesterday on Nvidia, right, between 560 and around this 568. After moving lower, right, and after breaking under this 568, Nvidia flushed into the gap fill level, right, at that 560, and pretty much just V-shaped recovered from that point. A perfect sort of gap fill, right, and recovery. I would make sure you continue to watch this type of move. So today, it's the same thing. So you have that previous high at 575. You have a gap up on Nvidia. What would I look for? I would look for Nvidia to come back down, right, start to maintain here, and then potentially longing it off that 575 today. That would be perfection if we could get that. If you get under that, you're moving back to that 568. All right, so keep looking for these previous levels, these gap fill levels, to act as new demands. You can see how it's been reacting lately. So you have demand here. You pull back, right? You have a nice demand here. You have previous highs here. Look for that demand there, right? So just keep watching these gap fill levels. Today, the gap fill level is around that 574, 575. So if you get that here, this could be a very nice long entry today. Very similar to what you saw yesterday, right? Back into that 560 and a sick long entry. So keep an eye on that again today. A very possible outcome of the day is a pullback to 574, and then look to see if that long sets up. That would be top watch of the day for me. AMD. So AMD, a little bit bizarre yesterday, right? Maybe just some heavy selling after a push into all-time highs, right? Maybe just an opportunity for some major shareholders to start to take some profits, right? Because pretty much all day yesterday, AMD just sold off. Late day, it did do that little recovery move, but pretty much all morning, even as the NASDAQ was sort of, right, the NASDAQ yesterday morning was sort of doing this. It was just sort of maintaining and then sort of went. AMD went straight down. So a little bit of selling going on there on AMD, but the funny thing is that today you are right back above that previous all-time high. You are right back above that 164.50. So yesterday, if you watched my video, right, we longed AMD off that 164.50 hold for a very nice scalp to the upside. Today, look at this, right? You can see we gapped up over that, right over. I mean, the gap literally started right at the previous all-time high level, right there. You can see it right there, right? It started right at that previous all-time high level. So what am I going to look for in AMD today? I mean, it's as clear as it can be. I'm just going to be looking for a pullback back to that previous all-time high and another potential demand hold at that level. That would be the one and only long trade that I'd be interested in on AMD today. Would be a very solid hold above the previous all-time high and this little gap fill level at that 164.50. That would be very clean if I can get something like that. If you break below that, I really don't like it, right? Because you can see the weakness that came in under that level yesterday. So if you do break under this 164.50 today, right, if you get under that, I'd be a little bit more interested in maybe a long back at these levels here, 161, 160.7. That would probably be my other interesting entry back at this 160 area if you do break below that previous all-time high. Okay? That's AMD. Microsoft. So what did Microsoft... man, this one hurts, right? And so, guys, this is just a little learning lesson or a little, something I can relate to you with, right? It's going to happen in your trading as long as you trade, right? As long as you stay here and you continue to trade in the markets, this will happen to you. There's no way, there's no getting around it. So you can see yesterday, right? And we talked about this in the live stream. You are going to happen at times, right? It's going to happen nonstop. You're going to look at something, you're going to look for something, and you're going to miss it. And then you're going to look back and say, holy shit, it did exactly what I wanted it to do. It hurts, right? But this is something that will nonstop happen in your trading career. You will never be able to get around it. It's impossible to catch everything that you're looking at, right? It's impossible. So yesterday, we wrote out some analysis on Microsoft. I would like to see Microsoft pull back and fill the gap at 390 for a long entry today. And unfortunately, it's one of those times where you come back. This morning I was looking at Microsoft and I just was like, oh my God, it did exactly that. And I just totally missed it. So, right, just from when this happens to you in trading, take it as hey, I'm looking at the right things. It should give me confidence. Unfortunately, I missed it, but I know I'm looking for the right analysis. I know I'm reading the charts right, and I know that this should give me confidence, in my trading. So that's how I try to portray that. That's how I try to that's how I try to cope with some of the things that I miss. Because look at how beautiful this was yesterday, right? You have that 390 level, you have that previous high, you have that gap, and yesterday all Microsoft did was, nope, we're not buying something. All Microsoft did was slowly pull back to that 390 level and perfectly hold it and just rip at that point. So today I will not miss this. Okay, this will be on my watch. This will be on my eyes today. It is. You know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to put an alert. I don't know why I didn't have an alert on it yesterday, but I'm going to put an alert right there at 395. If Microsoft comes back down to that 395, 394 right here, right, fills this gap, if Microsoft does something like this, I will absolutely be looking for that entry point at that level, right? A retest of the previous highs right here, a gap fill, right? And then if the market's strong, right, looking for that sort of curl back to the upside. This is exactly what Microsoft did yesterday for a sick move to the upside. I would absolutely look for it again, okay? If it does break under 394, you're coming back to 390, which could honestly present an opportunity again, right, for upside there as well, okay? 394, 390. Let's go to Meta. So Meta actually cleaned up a little bit yesterday. The chart makes a little bit more sense to me now. It was a little bit tough to read yesterday, but I can see clear. I can see clearly now. So 377, right? You can see right there. 377, 377. That's very clear. So today, what are you looking for? If you hold 377, I would look for that long. All right, if you can hold above 377, if you can hold above this high, if you can hold above this high, this could be a nice long entry today. If you break under that, if you break under 377 today, this is the level to watch. 372. 372, look to see if that's a long right there off 372. Okay? The reason why I say 372 is because look at this, right? 372, 372, 372. Perfect there yesterday. If we go into the past, right? 372, 372. That 372 level is definitely sort of strong. So if you're above it and you're pulling back into it, I would look to see if that creates a long entry. So I'm watching both 377 and 372 on Meta today. Let's go to Netflix. Netflix is back above that 487 supply. So if Netflix turns this into support here, right, it's going to want to continue higher. So Netflix is back above these lows, back above these highs, right, back above this previous high. And if you hold above it, right, if you hold above that 387, you're going into 487, my bad. If you hold above that 487, you're going into that 494. Okay? 487, 494. Watch that 487 on Netflix today. No, it's not a real candle, guys. It's a glitch candle. All right, I'll go there, Breadman. Just for you, Breadman, just because it's you. Hey, Breadman, right? We talked about this. Like maybe Monday or Tuesday, maybe, or maybe it was last week. Pretty sure it was Monday or Tuesday, though. I mean, look at that. Doesn't get much cleaner than that, right? Bam, 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 bam. All right, so that's pretty clean on the Dow right there. Next level is probably it's just a channel, really. It's just a channel. 38,000 to 37.4. All right. Let's go to Boeing. I am short Boeing this morning, and I will explain why. So Boeing, big downside, right? And so I've been talking about Boeing retracing back to the 200 and 100 SMA. I do not think it's going to be that easy for Boeing to just get back above these SMAs. These are some big boy SMAs. So that's why I opened some shorts yesterday, pretty much at close, as Boeing was pushing into these SMAs. You can see it right here. So I was 357, putting some size into Boeing January 26, 210 puts, looking to see if we can get a reaction at this 200 and 100 SMA tomorrow. That's pretty much the trade idea there. I have a stop loss on those above the SMA, but I just don't, when I see a 200 and 100 SMA stacked up together like that, I'm going to put a little bit of size into it, right? I'm going to try it because that is not easy, especially with the extreme weakness that we've seen here, right? I think this could just be a, sort of a rejection point. So I'm willing to take that shot there. You can see right as we popped into that SMA this morning, we got a downside reaction. So, yeah, I'm going to look for it, right? If we get back above, then I'll stop out right there. So be it. Take my little loss and move on. But for now, I'm sort of interested there. And, yeah, that's that. That's really that. The demand below is sort of that 197 area. If I go to the daily chart, you can see right here, 197, 197. So this 197 is going to be a big level to break. It might not, right? Because Boeing pretty much retraced. I mean, from the lows here for the Fib boys. I mean, Boeing has pretty much retraced like 78% of this move. This entire move since October of this year has retraced the whole move. So does Boeing have more, right? Is it going to retrace everything? Possible, but that 197 level might be a big level to watch out for. But I don't mind taking a little short entry here on a pop to see if there is more continuation. So, yeah, big Opex today is a lot of leap expirations, right? The January 2024 leap expirations, like everyone last year, all last year that were taking 1 year out leaps, that's today, right? So that expires today. So, yeah, pretty big. All right. So that's that. Let's go to coin. Yeah, coin. I'm sort of upset I didn't. You know what? I'm not too upset about it, but I definitely am interested in coin under this low. I think it's really 127 if I had to be exact. I think it's sort of the 127 level. I am definitely going to sort of monitor what coin does here at 127. So you have 127, 127. The low of Tuesday of last week, or of this week, right, is right here. Right here, right? 127, right there. So I'm going to look to see today, does Coinbase stay below 127? If it does, then, yeah, I think there could be more downside. But you got to stay under 127. If you get back above that, if you're back above that Tuesday low, Coinbase probably just sort of consolidates and moves a little bit higher. But if you see a nasty rejection here, right, this could be money. And definitely something I'd be watching today. 127. Okay. What else? Apple. Right, we got to go over Apple. So pretty much, I mean, what a demand hold. And not surprised, it's Apple at the end of the day, right? People like to forget that Apple is Apple. I think people like to forget that Apple has trillions of dollars in. Is it trillions? Or is it billions? Apple, no, it's in the billions. But they're a $1 trillion company, but Apple cash. So Apple, I mean, as of this, what I'm reading here, Apple has $162 billion in cash on hand. So it's just Apple, man. And it's very difficult to get any type of extended downside on Apple, right? And so when Apple's trading at the 200 SMA, was there ever that much of a doubt that was going to try to hold? I don't think so. We talked about this 200 SMA pretty much every day on the live stream. And, yeah, I mean, what a beautiful 200 SMA hold. That's a major level. And market's sort of heating up again. Yeah, the news is not going to if the market's moving higher, if Apple's holding this 200, there's going to be some kind of relief here. So pushing up, right, off that 200, very nice hold of that 200 SMA. Very clean there. Today, though, right, there's some levels to watch still. You got like these previous lows right here around this 192 that I think is important. So I'm going to zoom in on this for you. All right, if I put a level here around this 192 supply, I think you want to be careful of that, right? We're not just blindly longing Apple just because of what I said. But, it's definitely holding that 200. So 192, I think, is number one. I think that's, a level to watch here. Let me get a little bit more time for you. So if I zoom in on the hourly chart here, 192, right here. 192, 192, 192, 192, 192, 192, 192, 192. Okay? A lot of reactions at 192. So if Apple sort of pushes into there, I'd expect there to be a little bit of weakness. Just be aware of that 192 level today on Apple. Okay? If you start to push into that, just be aware, hey, there's been a lot of rejections at this level, and there could be rejections at this level again. So just be aware of that 192. If Apple reclaims that level, it's going to go. All right, that would be a very strong reclaim over 192 on Apple. That's the big level above. On a pullback, I'd probably watch these previous highs, right? That 188, right in that 187.50 area. These previous lows here, and then that previous high from Wednesday, right in here. That's probably the area to watch on a pullback. If I go down to the 30-minute chart, right, if you're going to look for a pullback long on Apple, you probably want it to be back into this right here, back into these holds right here, around that 188, 187.50. Okay? So 187.50, 188 for that potential pullback long, and then that 192 is big time supply above. Amazon, or I'm sorry, I was going to go to Google. I really don't love Google, man. Google is sort of sloppy here. I mean, there's like a few different levels that I just don't really trust, to be honest. When it's not perfectly clean, it's just not as trustworthy to me. So like Nvidia, this is sparkly clean, right? This is squeaky clean, right? You have previous highs, right? You have a hold there, previous lows, you have a hold there, previous highs. You could see where that could hold today, right? It's just sparkly, squeaky clean there on Nvidia. Google is like wicks everywhere, sort of nonsense, sort of breakdowns, pops, right? It's just not as beautiful as you like. But, there's still opportunities. But sometimes I just sort of, if something's not, I don't want to try so hard to find a trade. So if I can't see it within 5 minutes of analyzing something, I say, screw this stock. I'm not trading it. So that's sort of my opinion. But, there's a few things I could tell you about to watch. I'd say you watch like this 145.60 area. That's yesterday's double top highs, right? Yesterday's double top highs right here, 145.60. I think that's a good watch, right? Right in that area. See if that turns into a demand at that 145.60. The other one that I would watch is 145, right? So right here, 145, 145, 145. So I'd say watch these two highs here at 145, and then watch that yesterday double top high at 145.60. Those would be the two that I would watch. Okay. Am I still shorting Square? No. I mean, you could look for Square shorts under 66, right? It's still there, but I'm not going to short small caps anymore, right? I'm not going to short small caps, right? If you're shorting Square, you are technically shorting the IWM into major time demand, right? Major demand. All right, if you're shorting Square, if you're shorting Roku, if you're shorting PayPal, if you're shorting any kind of small cap stock, you are basically shorting the IWM into 188 demand. I just don't think that's a good idea as of now. Amazon, big supply here. Just be aware of it. Right here. Bam, bam. Be careful up here, right? 155, 155.60. Be careful of this supply above. That's that. Snow, it's really nothing on snow, man. It's in no man's land. Snow's in no man's land. The only level you could trade snow off of is 195. You got to get back to some kind of key level here. 195 maybe. This is no man's land. This is called trading in purgatory or trading in the twilight zone. Okay? We do not want to be trading in the twilight zone. We want to be trading at where those key levels are. So, pretty much like, if you just start trading Nvidia right here, I'm taking a trade on Nvidia right now, right? Total purgatory move, right? Total just twilight zone trade. There's nothing here, right? What is right there? Nothing, right? We want to be trading here or here, right? We want to be trading at those major reaction levels, not just randomly in black space. Roku, yeah, I mean, you could watch the retest rejection, man. It's possible. But again, this is the same thing, guys. If you play Roku, if you short Roku, you are shorting the IWM into demand. Okay? If the IWM goes up, Roku goes up. If IWM goes up, Square goes up, right? Anything small cap goes up. PayPal goes up. I don't know what else is that directly correlated to the IWM, but there's a lot. And just make sure you know that. So if you see the IWM reject today, right, if the IWM gets a little heavy here at 192, then yeah, Square's going to drop, and you could watch for that. So make sure you understand. I already looked at Meta. All right, guys, that's it. What are we looking for today? Pullback longs. 151. That's number one. 17,150. 17,100, 17,050. Those are nice. ES 4820. That could be nice. Then back to that 4,800. That could be nice. You can see the rejection at 4840 stepping in. That's a very key level above, right? 4840, very key level above. All right, guys, and make sure you understand 480 is SPY all-time high right here. All right, just know that. All right, guys, that is a week. We have completed a week of live streams. If you guys could just take 1 second out of your damn day and press that like button for me, I'd appreciate that. September, thank you for the $5 donation again. Thank you guys for all the support. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the subscriptions. Go out, enjoy your weekend, have fun. Don't do anything too stupid. And, have a beer on me. Send me the bill. Just kidding. Don't do that. All right, guys. I will see you guys on Monday. Peace.